Hose failures can be extremely lethal. There's a lot of pressure behind a hose rupture.
As we got deeper into hose testing, we really realized that there was a lot more going on here and a lot more than we had originally thought about.
Our philosophy around safety is when you know better, you do better. In June of 2015, we had an ammonia loading hose in our shipping area start to bubble out liquid ammonia. The hose showed that it had been tested and passed its test, and as part of the investigation into that, we started looking at records, and what we found was we couldn't find the records.
Everybody throughout the pipe fitter welder group would have to go and do their stint in hose testing, and so everybody had kind of a different take on how that was done. As you can imagine, it got a little jumbled over the years and a little bit disorganized.
We've had a hose testing program for well over 10 years, and it's worked okay, but there was always gaps or concerns. There wasn't a full level of confidence that we were always up to speed.
We determined that a team needed to be formed to go and start looking at the hose information and ensure that one is it's accurate, it's up to date. And that's where we found a lot of gaps into our system.
We had acid hoses with steam fittings and steam hoses with acid fittings and things like that that weren't going to hold.
Typically on a steam hose, you've got a band, a spiral color that goes across it. Air hoses are usually yellow, but they can be red. So typically how you identify them is by the fittings on the end of the hoses. So it varies on the type of hose.
You cannot use the wrong fitting or the wrong hose on an ammonia service because people's lives are at risk, so it's critical. We started asking those hard questions and looking at, are we really using the right fitting for the right hose, for the right service?
You know, operators can be quite ingenious in trying to get tasks done. You need a hose fitting, you need a union, a coupling, whatever, and I just want to go from point A to point B. We found an alarming amount of stuff that was homemade. That's really not the right thing to have.
So we communicated and shared that by putting out a poster, and the poster had the information on there identifying some of the fittings that you should be using on a certain hose.
Whip check is a safety device that we use on our hoses in case of either a coupling failure or the hose failure.
You've got a hose that's under pressure. If you've ever seen a hose let go at 150 psi, it's not very controlled, to say the least. So it's like a big whip. If you're close to that, you could really be seriously hurt.
A whip check is rated for a certain strength, and you have to apply it to the right hose. So if you have the wrong whip check applied to the wrong hose pressure, that whip check will break and you'll be in the line of fire.
We had been working on our whip check program for years. And we're finally at the place where the guys understand and recognize the importance.
Now we just have an expectation that every hose attached will have the right whip check. They're easy to install. Again, not a difficult thing for that extra layer of safety, and our people recognize that.
The deeper we dug into the problem, we found that the hose records were inconsistent. My oldest daughter had a day off school, and I took her to a day camp. I filled out all the paperwork. They read it through, slapped a barcode sticker on the top of the paperwork, put a bracelet on my daughter, synced the 2 barcodes, and they had all of her emergency contact information, all of her allergies, all of everything. And I left there thinking, if we can barcode my daughter, my goodness, we can barcode a hose.
We now have a metal tag that has a huge number on it, and it's got the year of when it was tested.
You apply a new tag to that hose after you've tested it. This hose is good. So then you take your scanner, you scan it, and now that you've got on your scanner a screen that you can use the little handy dandy pen that you've got there and add information. We've got now a database of all our hoses. We can look at that anytime and tell how many hoses we have, where the hose came from, what the condition was, did it pass a hydrostatic test, did we have to replace an end?
You know what, I feel good about this. And our guys feel good about this, and they were involved in the solution.
They really feel comfortable and confident that they can start focusing on what they need to do when they're using the hose, not the hose itself.
I want to know that the hose is tested by somebody that knows me and knows my family. I feel a lot safer.
I look at this as leading edge, and I could tell sometimes when we were talking about our hose testing team, there was other people that wanted to be on a team like that because it brought so much value.
We all use tools such as rigging and lifting equipment that we have to have inspected. We can barcode anything. The opportunities actually are endless.
I'm on the emergency response team. Every time we sit in there and we're trying to figure out where everything is, we get confused. Well, this is an opportunity to be able to collect that, to know everything is in place when you're doing your checklist.
The hose testing program and how it can be expanded is very personal. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to the people that work here, and the community may not know it, but it means a lot for them too.
Anytime that you can walk away from your day knowing that you made the plant a little safer, I think there is a sense of pride in that.
We've got better because of our hose testing. It's amazing the benefits we've seen from it.
At CF,
We do it safe.
At CF,
We do it right.
At CF Medicine Hat, we do it right.